At ASAP Ministries, we are witnesses to the positive impact of Christian education on the thousands of poor and at-risk children who attend ASAP schools in Southeast Asia. We rejoice with every story of lives changed through the influence of godly teachers. But sadly, in this fallen world, not every story has a happily ever after ending. Many children are caught in the crossfire between good and evil. We believe that their stories deserve to be told too, even though the endings remain uncertain. Veasna was the oldest student in her class at the Samrong Adventist School in a border town in Cambodia. Her family had pulled her out of school so many times that at 12 years old, she was only in the 2nd grade. But her teacher, Bun Tim, could see from the twinkle in her eyes that she was a very bright girl.
Veasna was one of the top students in my class. She was an outgoing, friendly girl, and everyone liked her. She was grateful to be able to attend school, and she was always respectful to her teachers. My daughter and her are the same age, and she considered me almost like a father.
Veasna no longer had her father and mother in her life. No one at the school knew what happened to her parents, only that she lived with her uncle and aunt and her grandparents, who were very poor. Bun Tim could tell that things were difficult at home for Veasna.
Many times Veasna came to school without any food to eat. Other times she would bring in just a little rice and fish paste. The other teachers and I felt so bad that we came up with a plan. In our classroom, we had a rule about cleanliness. If students left their garbage lying around, we fined them a small amount. Since everyone loved Veasna, we made her treasurer of the fines. I didn't tell the other students, but I allowed her to keep the money she collected so that she could buy food. She took this responsibility very seriously, and soon she also began helping with collecting and counting the offering at church. Of course, she didn't keep the offering money. It was just her way of using her talents to serve God, and it brought her purpose and joy.
Bun Tim and Pastor Sotorn, the local pastor, did all they could to help ease the burden of poverty for Veasna and her family. They gave her food and made sure she had a sponsor to help with school expenses. But after the first semester of the school year, Veasna did not return to class.
I asked a reliable source and learned that Veasna's uncle had quietly withdrawn her from school and taken her away. He had told her that no matter how much she studied, she would never amount to anything. He said her lot in life was to work as a slave, and he had taken her to the capital city of Phnom Penh to serve as a maid in a private home. I was so upset. I called her uncle and urged him to bring her home and send her back to school, but he refused. To this day, I have not been able to contact Veasna, but I pray for her all the time.
Stories like Veasna's are not uncommon in Southeast Asia. Every year, untold numbers of children disappear into the shadowy underworld of human trafficking. Some, like Veasna, are sold into slavery. Others are forced into prostitution. Sadly, 2/3 of these children are trafficked by someone they know and trust, a parent, a relative, or a neighbor. If there is any glimmer of hope in Veasna's story, it is that because of her short time at Samrong Adventist School, she knows that she's not alone. She now knows there is a God who loves her, who she can go to for help and comfort. And there are people like Bun Tim and Pastor Sotorn who will not stop praying for her or trying to help in any way they can. It may seem like a small consolation, but we serve a God who can do much with little. He can multiply the widow's mite and feed multitudes with a little boy's lunch. Surely children like Veasna are not beyond his reach. Please pray for her too. Today, will you join me in praying for all the children everywhere who are caught in the horrors of poverty and human trafficking? Will you pray for the teachers at ASAP schools who, like Boon Tim, are doing all they can to save their at-risk students? And will you give a special gift to ASAP's education fund to give children the chance to go to school and meet their Heavenly Father who created them and cares for them and will never leave them nor forsake them? Because Jesus is coming soon. Now, more than ever, mission matters.